So let's get right into it. So the $1.2 million sales process makeover, right? So what's the difference between a 14-day and a 6-day sales cycle? About $1.2 million in annual revenue. So after optimizing well over 100 different info businesses and also different types of agencies, I've identified the frameworks that slash sales cycle by 57% while also increasing deal size. So the true cost of slow sales is, well, number one, each day added to your sales cycle, the closure drops, right? Due to the lead getting colder. Again, so it's like the revenue impact is massive, right? So your sales process, it could either be your greatest asset or your biggest liability, right? So long sales cycle, in my opinion, don't just waste time, but they bleed money as well. Again, if let's say you're selling enterprise type of deals, it is a different ballgame because there's a lot more bureaucracy. So by default, they create a lot more friction, and there's a lot more things to go through. So the deal size, the sales cycle is obviously going to be longer. But this is basically if let's say you're selling, you're an education company selling, either info products or coaching, or you're an agency selling services, right? And so this is going to be valuable for you. If you really pay attention, you can actually take action on this. So number one, which is I noticed, which is insane, is like if you implement this today, you would literally make more money, right? But bottom line number one is the value ladder misalignment, right? So a lot of offers, a lot of companies, the way to do things is they try to they only have one main offer and they try to shove that main offer to absolutely everyone. Here's the thing though, is depending on your prospects and your leads, they're not all at the same stage, right? Some of them have been more exposed to who you are, and they have higher buying intent, so they're ready to go. So let's say you have your main offer is a $4,800 offer, they're ready to buy, they're ready to go. Again, you have some people who have never heard about you till that very call, and they haven't watched any of your pre-call. They haven't really looked at your company that much. They haven't looked at your pre-call assets either. So at that point, they're not very educated. They don't know you. They don't trust you, right? And they're most likely they're really, really cold, right? So could you still close them? Sure, but the likelihood of you closing them is a lot lower, right? But you could still also get them as a customer one way or another, right? So free content, is an easy win, right? But they must connect to your entry offer as well. But your intro offer, it breaches free to premium. So essentially, if let's say you have a premium offer, not everyone is especially for agencies. I see a lot of agencies do this where well, we charge $3,000 a month, but if they're not willing to pay $3,000 a month, you just lose out on that deal. That's absurd in my opinion, because that's still an opportunity to turn someone into a customer and start building a relationship with them and then grow from there. So an intro offer could be something very simple where maybe you make ad creatives, right? So let's say you package, I don't know, it's going to be 12 ad creatives for a company for $9.97. It could be, let's say you have an email sequence, an email flow, and you have, let's say, 6 emails for them that you're giving for them for $4.97. Something simple, valuable that they can take action on, and also they start seeing how it is working with you right out the gate. So it gives them an idea of how it is working with you, right? And once they get a little bit of a taste, guess what? They're going to come back to you as well, but it's also going to be so much easier for you to, again, they're naturally going to buy what you need because they have problems that they need to solve and they don't have all the time in the world, right? So it's a natural progression upwards, right? Most businesses, again, they create offers in isolation. So after proper alignment, one client can cut their sales cycle. I had one client cut their sales cycle from 19 to 8 days, which makes a big difference because essentially on a month-to-month, you have just way more cash that you can collect upfront. So that's number one. Number two is unstructured discovery. So that's something too. Right now, I have one of the teams I'm working with where we're working on this actively. Because here's the thing, right? Is if let's say your discovery's all over the place, it's really complicated. Because if it's scattered, your calls are going to be a lot longer, but also you may not get the information you need in order to close the deal, right? So number one, of course, their current state. Establish specific metric. Get very clear on their current situation, right? If you don't get clear on the situation, you can never create the gap, right? Because you want to know the current state, and then you want to know their dream state, their vision, where they want to go, their goals, right? And so you need to know both really, really clearly, right? So next up is essentially you want to define their desired state with clear outcomes, right? Next up is you want to quantify the gap, right? Measure the implication. What's holding you back, honestly speaking, right? How much longer are you going to keep doing what you're doing right now? Do you honestly feel like based on what you've been doing so far, it's going to get you X outcome? Again, quantify the gap. There's different ways to go about this. Identify obstacles, right? So preventing self-delusion. Look, this is honestly, obstacles a lot of the time, especially if you're selling, let's say, an education type of offer, a coaching offer, it's a lot of times going to be limiting beliefs, right? Limiting beliefs, or it could be also a lack of self-esteem. It really comes down to the individual themselves. When it's a B2B offer, a lot of the times it could be a little bit more of a logistical thing, or something they haven't implemented. So yeah, and then from there, you can build consensus on solution characteristics. So you want to make sure you guys agree on where they're at, but also you want to make sure that they've admitted that they do have a problem, right? Because if someone's not able to admit that they have a problem, how in the hell are you going to help them out? They're not even aware that they have an issue, and they're not able to admit it, right? So, and then of course, there's your pre-pitch, pitch, all that good stuff. I'm not going to go too deep on that, but yeah, make sure you have a structured discovery framework, and again, that's going to help you a lot. Next up is inconsistent objection handling. Again, this is one of those things where it's just I'm not a huge fan of handling objections, to be honest with you. I think most objections are BS. Again, objections can be handled very easily by doing what I mentioned above, which is just having essentially actually having a proper value ladder. Because some people may not be ready to buy right now because it really comes down to their investment. They don't trust you enough, and it seems too big of a risk, right? So it's you're minimizing the amount of risk by giving them an offer that makes sense for them in the moment, right? And then from then they can kind of go upward from there, right? But again, for objection handling, it's you want to handle them in a way that works really well, right? So again, develop responses, right? Create proven counters. People always give you the same objections. A lot of the times it's I need to think about it, right? I need to talk to my wife, or hey, honestly, this is a lot of money, or whatever the fuck, right? It's it usually comes down to these things where you need to think about it, you need to sleep on it, you need to pray on it, whatever that may be, right? Once you start noticing patterns of current objections that people have, ideally right, you want to figure a way out to address them preemptively, right? So before prospect even raise them, right? So if you have a lot of the like I need to think about it thing, it's like try to figure out like what's their timing. Like I always like to know with people, it's like, is this something you're actually looking to solve as soon as possible? Like what's their level of urgency? Figure out their level of urgency and figure out how important this is to solve to them, right? And what that looks like specifically to them, right? And also what's the cost of inaction, right? Because once people get really clear on like what the real cost is if they don't take action, if they don't do something different, usually like there's naturally a higher level of urgency for them to actually move forward, right? So again, it can be a ton of stuff. Try to figure out what are the most common objections right now you're having in your business or whatever you're on sales calls, and try to figure a way out to address them beforehand, right? Measure results, track impact closures. I would even say if you could figure a way out to even address them in your pre-call assets, right? So before when people book a call with you, they go through specific sales assets, whether it's a sales letter that you're sending over to them, whether it's a pre-call VSL, whatever that may be. Try to really add some core things that are going to address certain things that they may already be worrying about beforehand. This sounds so simple, but so many companies don't do it. It's actually unbelievable. Measure results, track impact close rates, and then from then identify again and go from there. But again, so yeah, this is like, again, we have clients like that implement this, and it makes a huge difference because a lot of them just don't do it, and it's super like it's a no-brainer, right? So we have one client who implemented this, added over $83,000 in monthly revenue without spending more on marketing, right? So the easiest way for you to make more money within your business is to make more out of your current leads. Always remember that, right? So you may think you have a leads issue, but really you're not making the most out of your current leads. So look at your metrics right now. It's like, what is my show up rate, right? How many people do we have showing up? Are the people that we're booking, and do they have a buying intent? Do they actually want to buy what we offer, right? Like what does that look like, right? Why aren't people buying what we offer, right? You figure that out, right? And get really clear on why people are moving forward and why are they not moving forward, right? And figure that out. And then again, not everyone's a good fit either. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, that's the thing too. Ideally, you want to turn those people away before they even show up on the call. Anyways, the integrated sales process framework. So again, 40% close rate, consistent results, sub 7-day sales cycles, perfect value ladder, 5-phase discovery, and then preemptive objection protocol, right? So this framework works because it addresses structural issues in your sales process, not just surface level symptoms either, right? Again, if you're, you run an education company or you have an agency, this is something I do offer, which is super, like you'll have really clear insight within your company, but also get a really clear glimpse on what to do next, what to do differently. So it's a strategic sales department audit. So what I do is I identify specific bottlenecks in your current sales approach. From there, what I do after that is I also do a value ladder review. So I will evaluate your offer alignment and customer journey flow. And the next step, I'll also conduct an objection protocol. So assess current handling methods and develop preemptive strategies. And the next step as well is a custom roadmap. So you'll receive a personalized optimization plan in 60-minute session. And this is like super actionable. So like everything I look at in-depth numbers and what your current process is, and then I give you really actionable feedback that you can implement literally within a day, within an hour, within that week itself. So you can have everything set up and then see the results directly. So these are limited spots available again mainly for product businesses and agencies. Ideally, you're doing. I always tell guys, I usually do an audit with companies that do at least $1 million to $10 million in revenue range. But if you're doing at least, let's say, just for today, let's say you're watching this and your company's between 30 to 50K a month, and feel free to, again, reach out to me and I'll give you some free advice as well, just like give you some feedback as well. So yeah, that's about it on mine right now. So yeah, hope you found this valuable. And like my goal is to help you guys, whoever's watching right now, is dominate your market, right? So, right, the key is if let's say you want to be a market leader that has efficient process, right? But also on my end, right, is I only like to work with A players as well. So the best teams, the best companies I work with, they don't have really just like a good acquisition process or just a good product, but the people that work there are really good. And also they're serious about scaling their business, and I'm expecting that of the owner who, let's say if I were to work with you as well, same thing as well. You take whatever you're doing really seriously and you actually want to grow that business at a high level. So yeah, schedule your audit now. The link will be in the description below. Stay focused on what truly moves the needle in your business, and yeah, it'll be game changer. So if you have any other questions, feel free to message me on Instagram or I'll drop my Telegram as well. And yeah, so that's about it on mine right now. So.